Hey, welcome back to Gold and Black Live, segment 3. We always save the best for last, right? And the best is right here. Stuart Schweigert, another number 9.
I was going to say a pretty good number 9 was just sitting here. Actually, when the first time I met him at the spring game, I took my oldest daughter, I think she was maybe 6 at the time, and I said, Cameron, I want you to meet the original number 9, Mr. Mark Herman. So it was great to see him. Me and Tom had him on Shot Down Memory Lane for our second episode, and what a great guy.
Great guy. Stuart's a great guy, too. It's always fun to visit, always fun to see Stuart enthusiastic, always has a smile on his face and a friendly word. In addition to a very glossy football resume, I always like running down people's accomplishments. This guy had 17 picks while at Purdue, was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year, an All-Big Ten player. Started the moment he stepped foot on campus, I believe, on that 2000 Rose Bowl team. Was a third-round pick of the Oakland Raiders. On and on it goes. Stuart, let's just begin right from 2019. You're in town. You're on the Hammer. You host an afternoon show with Clayton Duffy. Give us your quick take on the 2019 Bowl. It's 2-4. Are they going to make a bowl?
It'll be tough. I mean, I think there's opportunity for them to do that. If you look at the schedule, I think there are 4 teams they can beat. Will they beat them? I'm not sure. The one thing that's great is just the future is so bright for this program, and the young kids that we have coming up and the way they've matured, and you can almost see them almost every play just getting better, more and more confidence. A guy like Corey Trice, who last year played a little bit at nickel safety, and then now stepping into that starter role, his first start against Penn State. And then we saw what he did this last week against Maryland, 2 interceptions, 1 for a touchdown, led the team in tackles, had a phenomenal tackle on a kickoff. Yep. So it's great. It's nice to see these kids. They're just playing with more and more confidence. I think now that they know they can compete in the Big Ten and be able to win some games, that's the biggest thing that I think is going to help us win. Now, when you're talking about younger kids, can they do it week in and week out? Can they do it play in and play out? That's the biggest thing that separates the great players from the good ones, is the ones that can consistently make plays. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We don't know. So it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with Iowa tomorrow.
Hey, on the website right now, I've got my mid-season report. Give out a lot of awards, MVP of the offense, MVP of the defense, best moment, etc. Stuart, I'd like to know real quick, who is your first-half offensive MVP?
Ooh, that's a tough. There's 2 guys I'm going back and forth with. Is going to be Jack Plummer and David Bell. I mean, those guys have been really, really good. I mean, when you look at the catches that David Bell makes, I think he's probably been our most consistent receiver this year. I mean, we've had Rondell Moore had some drops. Bryson Hopkins had some drops. You've seen Ahmed Anderson drop the ball. Jackson had a couple drops. But I think as far as David Bell goes, if anything where it wasn't a ball that was thrown to him that he didn't catch, is because a defender knocked it down. But I think I'm going to have to give it to Jack Plummer for what he's done. I've been really, really impressed with him, his poise. Again, his ability to escape out of some of those pressures and get those first downs on 3rd and 16, 3rd and 15. He's led 95-yard drives, 90-yard drives. I think he's got that poise that you need for a quarterback.
Who's your defensive MVP of the first half? I can tell you mine was.
Yeah. What do we got?
The freshman, number 5, George Karlaftis.
Yeah, I mean, we knew he was good. I don't know if we knew he was this good.
I think the work ethic.
He is just
the dedication for a youngster. He didn't come in as a prima donna.
No.
He didn't come in as a pampered recruit.
And he could have easily done that. Yeah.
Easily. George is coming in with a blue-collar attitude. Combine that with his talent. You have a freshman All-American right now.
Well, you know what? The thing that I'm hearing from the coaches is he treats this like it's his job. You know, if he's not in class, he's in the facility. He's first out at practice. He's staying after practice. He's in the weight room. He's in the training room. I know we actually live across from his girlfriend, and we saw her out one day, and her comment was, we said, how's everything going? She goes, well, all George does is watch film. So
boring.
Yeah.
Take me to a movie.
But he takes it very serious, and the thing that I'm so impressed with is I knew athletically he might be able to get around some guys, but he's got some really good power moves, and for a kid who's, I think, 18,
he turned 18 during spring football.
Yeah, he's a young 18. Yeah. I mean, his strength, he's taking those big guys and he's forcing them back. He is, for a while there, until these other freshmen kind of caught up with him, defensively, he was the only one really playing consistent and making plays, playing and play out. And, I mean, he'll go in and rush, they'll throw a look pass or a screen to somebody. He puts his foot in the ground, he'll make the tackle 15 yards downfield. So I've been very impressed with George, and I think I have to agree with you on the defensive MVP so far.
Jalen Graham, another true freshman. He's playing more of a nickelback / outside linebacker. Stuart, of course, was a safety. Jalen sort of is a safety by trade. Sort of talk about what you've seen from a guy physically who's a lot like you, came in with a lot of hype like you, and basically plays the same position as you.
Well, we have a lot of similarities. You know, he's from Michigan,
Yep.
Played quarterback at a great program up there. I tell you what, he is big. I mean, he 6'3", 215. I've been very impressed with the way that he's played. I think he's gotten better with his tackling ability, and it was kind of a moment to where I always talk about tackling guys low. Hitting them, I remember Coach Green told me between your knee and your ankle is about 15 pounds, right? And my theory is guys can run if they don't have their shoulders. Guys can run if they don't have their arms. But I don't think guys can run when they don't have their legs, right? So it was a play against Penn State. Their running back 21 caught a screen, and Jalen Graham came up full speed, chopped him out at the legs. The running back fell right there, and I was like, here he goes. He's learning that's one of the things I had a conversation with him, and I talked about tackling low, and it was like, boom, he's getting it. And I think these guys are just getting more and more confident each game, each play, and he's a guy that I think is going to be really, really good for us in the future.
Have you ever seen or been a part of a team that suffered the number of injuries this squad had? I mean, I chronicled it on our website one day. As far as guys who've played games and gotten hurt, it's in the double digits, Stuart.
Yeah.
It's been unreal.
I don't think ever. I may have remembered having a couple guys getting banged up, but when you talk about the amount of injuries that we've had this season to guys that we counted on to be big-time producers of this football team, and this is absolutely amazing. And I go back to my freshman year. We had a lot of freshmen that played, but we had seniors to look up to, seniors to go to. One of the questions I've been asking guys like Corey Trice is, who do you turn to? I mean, it's freshmen turning to freshmen. I mean, if you look at the defense, it's Ben Holt. He's a leader, but really, he's a new guy. And then you look on offense, I would probably say Jackson Anthrop's kind of the senior leader and kind of the veteran of that team. And really, he's still a guy trying to establish himself as well.
Yeah, you're right. Big game this weekend going to Iowa City. Jeff Brom's 2-0 against the Hawkeyes. Of course, Purdue won there during their last visit in 2017. Ironically, Purdue's won 2 of its last 3 visits to Iowa City. And Stuart, this always gets me thinking, we all know how crazy Kinnick Stadium is, and you've been around.
Yep.
What, in your mind, what was the most maybe intimidating venue you played in while you were at Purdue in the Big Ten?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would probably say Penn State there at Happy Valley, going there as a freshman.
As a freshman.
I think we started Minnesota that year. We won against Minnesota, then it was our first Big Ten road game. They had a really good team. I just remember being on the sideline, and at that time, I think I was 19 years old. It was a whiteout. We're standing there, the stadium almost is like coming on top of you. It's just right up there. It's really, really loud. I look, you have Joe Paterno running on the sideline. They're coming out, and they have that lion that roars, and it was just a really, really fun place to play. At Iowa, it was tough because in the one end zone, I mean, from me to you, I could be a fan sitting here in the bleachers, and like the end zone's right here, and they can throw stuff at you, yell at you. Camp Randall was another one. Ohio State was another one. A lot of great venues in the Big Ten Conference. One of the reasons why I wanted to stay in the Big Ten.
And then Purdue will have, like you said, has its work cut out for it. It's a tough environment. It's homecoming for Iowa as well.
Oh, great. Another homecoming, huh?
They've lost 2 in a row. Of course, they lost a tough game in Michigan last week. They got beat at home in a tough game by Penn State. So Iowa's going to be very hungry. And then there's Purdue, Stuart, gets a taste of success last week. 40-14, they beat Maryland. They're 2-4, 1-2 in the Big Ten. You have to get to 6 wins to get bowl eligible, obviously. And Stuart, I like to sneak ahead and look at the schedules.
Mm-hmm.
I still count. I can still find 4 games on there I think Purdue can win. This one this weekend, if they win, to me it's a bonus.
I think so too.
Then you got Illinois at home. You have Nebraska at home. You go to Northwestern. You go to Wisconsin. You have Indiana. So I think Purdue has a shot. They could beat Illinois and Nebraska at home. Northwestern's struggling mightily.
Yeah, they are.
Maybe they win in
Offensively,
Evanston.
yeah.
And you have Indiana at home to close the year. What do you think? Is Purdue going to get to 6 wins, make it 3 bowls in a row?
You know what? I think when you talk about this game, I think it is a bonus game. Before I dove into the stats and kind of the rankings of Iowa, I didn't think Purdue had much of a chance. But looking at Iowa, I mean, I don't know if they're anything that great. I mean, I think they're a good team. Obviously, Coach Ferentz, the guy that I have a lot of respect for, is always going to put together a good team. Nate Stanley is a good quarterback, but they have some issues with their offensive line.
Yeah.
Their offense has struggled putting up points. They don't have a running game like they normally do. So it is a game that we could come away with. But yeah, when you look at those games, I think that Wisconsin game is it's gonna be tough. We have not won in Wisconsin since my senior year. And we have not beaten Wisconsin since my senior year. So I don't know if that road's going to get any easier this year. And when you look at Illinois and Northwestern and Nebraska, I think those are teams we can beat. To be honest with you, with those 4, when you talk about Illinois, Nebraska, Northwestern, and Indiana, the game that probably gives me the most concern is that Bucket game last week. That Penix is a really good quarterback. They got a big physical running back, which we typically don't play well against. And in a rivalry game like that, the last 2 years, we kept them from going to a bowl game, and you tell me that they're going to really love to come in here and ruin our chances. So it'll be. I mean, is the possibility there?
Sure.
Yes, it is. I picked Purdue to have 6 wins, needing to beat Indiana to make it to a bowl.
3 years in a row, they had to beat Indiana to go to a bowl game.
And if we can do that with the team that we have now, I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal.
Just makes that season opening loss at Nevada that much more painful. Stuart, I can't ever have a conversation with you and not get at least one Oakland Raiders story. Give me something good on Al Davis or the Black Hole. Some crazy Oakland Raiders. How many guys in Tippecanoe County ever played for the Oakland Raiders? Here we got them right here.
You know what? I will say this. I've actually reconnected with the Raider Nation lately through my social media and with the shows that I'm doing at Newhoff Media there. They've really taken to me, and they've done a great job of reopening up my eyes to that kind of fan base, and it's been a ton of fun. And I'm trying to think about. Oh gosh,
that's all right. Think about this. Next year, it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders.
I think that's going to be really cool. I would like to. They have a reunion every year during the spring, and I would like to try to make it out there. The assistant out there said, Stuart, you got to stop having kids, because every time the spring game or whenever the thing comes up, I'm usually taking care of a baby or something like that. So, but I will say it's been fun reconnecting with the Raider Nation, and they've done a great job of helping me kind of promote what I've been doing back here in West Lafayette.
And lastly, tell us exactly how things are going at the Hammer.
Yeah, it's going great. I mean, obviously having resources here like you guys being able to come on our show is phenomenal. We've got the Hammer Down show from 4 to 6. Me and Clayton are on there. It's all local. Getting a lot. I had Kirk Ferentz on the show yesterday. I got a chance to interview him, which was awesome.
Big timer.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. We get a football player on every week, but I think the coolest thing that we get, the biggest response that we get is having the high school kids on there. Giving them a pedestal to talk, giving them a chance to tell us what they're doing. The morning drive is Jared Jessulitis and Kyle Charters on from 6 to 8. We also have Shot down memory lane, Tom Schott, who was my SID, who's now the whole entire department, sports information, from 8 to 9. And like I said, you had Mark Herman on earlier. He was a guest of ours. We've got Joey Elliott on the show tomorrow. We had Leroy Keys on. We've had Chris Dishman on. So it's a great show. I have Stu's views on my Facebook and on my Twitter, which I evaluate the new signees, the new recruits I just signed, kind of give my 2-minute evaluation of what I think. And what else do we got? We have other stuff going on too, I think. But we want to provide as much local content as we possibly can. So things are going really, really good over there. 101.7 The Hammer.
Yeah, you do a great job. It's great to serve the community. It's great to have you as part of the Purdue family in West Lafayette too, Stuart. And again, thank you very much for joining us, the Playmaker.
Tom, anytime you need me, and forgive me, I'm up here sweating. I was at the house, got a quick workout in. I haven't had time to cool off yet. But anytime I start talking about football, I get worked up.
I love it. Hey, again, thanks for joining us again. This edition of Go Black Live, as usual, we have our sponsors. When tomorrow's a big day, stay at HDI tonight. State Farm agent Trent Johnson at TrentIsMyAgent.com. Of course, the Triple X family restaurants on the hill but on the level, a Purdue tradition since 1929. Stuart, I like the Dwayne Purvis All-American. And also,
that's my favorite.
Got to throw out a quick thank you Gordon Jackson, Ryan Schmier, Kurt Larman, and Steve Clark of WLFI. Thank you very much, fellas. Stuart, we'll get a Dwayne Purvis All-American sometime.
Sounds
buddy.
good.
Thanks again, everybody, for joining us.